Welcome to Topic 4, Raising a Pre-Authorization Request. You need to be a medical superintendent, medical coordinator or MEDCO, or a Pradhan Mantri Arogya Mitra, also known as PMAM, to pre-authorize a patient on the Transaction Management System or TMS provider application. To do this, you should have signed up and acquired any of the above roles on the User Management Portal or UMP. By the end of this topic, you will be able to pre-authorize a patient on the Transaction Management System or TMS provider application. Upon logging in, your dashboard and work list are displayed. Here, the pre-authorization to be submitted tile is selected by default. And the worklist displays a list of patients whose pre-authorization needs to be initiated. When you log in as a PMAM, you will only be able to see the pre-authorization requests for patients that were registered by you. When you log in as a medical superintendent or as a MEDCO, you will be able to see the pre-authorization requests of patients registered by all three roles, PMAM, medical superintendent, and MEDCO. For this training, we have logged in as a medical superintendent. Let us begin by clicking the arrow on the patient's card, whose pre-authorization needs to be raised. And the application displays the pre-authorization screen. It includes the patient's details such as their name, age, gender, care plan, PMJID, Aadhaar number, mobile number and address, registration ID, registration date, total wallet amount, and wallet balance. The pre-authorization screen consists of three main tabs: medical information, admission information, and treatment. You need to add the patient's details into these tabs for pre-authorization. Let us start with the medical information tab. This tab displays three sub-tabs: general findings, family history, and personal history. Under the general findings sub-tab, you need to enter the patient's body temperature in Fahrenheit. Next, enter the patient's pulse rate. Enter the patient's height in centimeter. Then, enter the patient's weight in kilogram. On entering the patient's height and weight, the application calculates and fills the patient's BMI. Select Yes if the patient is suffering from cyanosis, pallor, malnutrition, and edema in feet. These fields are optional. On entering the general findings completely, the drop-down button turns green. Next, save the patient's general findings by clicking the Save button provided on the tab, or by clicking the Save icon given at the top. The application auto-saves the information that you have entered if you do not click the button or icon. On clicking the Save button, the application displays a message that the general findings have been saved successfully. If required, you can edit the patient's general findings by clicking the Edit button. Let us now enter the patient's family history. For this, click the drop-down button on the Family History subtab. Here, you need to select who in the patient's family suffers from diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, stroke, cancer, tuberculosis, and asthma. On entering the patient's family history completely, the drop-down button turns green. Next, click the Save button to save the family history details. Upon clicking the Save button, the system displays a message that the family history has been saved successfully. If required, you can edit the patient's family history details by clicking the Edit button. Let us now enter the patient's personal history. For this, click the drop-down button on the Personal History subtab. Here, select the patient's appetite, bowel, nutrition and diet-related conditions. Next, select Yes if the patient has known allergies. Else, select No. On selecting Yes, you will need to enter the patient's allergy details. Select yes if the patient has any habits or addictions. Else, select no. On selecting yes, you will need to enter the patient's habits or addictions details. On entering the patient's personal history completely, the drop-down button turns green. Now, save the patient's personal history details by clicking the Save button. On clicking the Save button, the application displays a message that the personal history of the patient has been saved successfully. If required, you can edit the patient's personal history details by clicking the Edit button. Once all the required details are saved, in the three sub-tabs under Medical Information tab, the drop-down button turns green. Next, let us move to the Admission Information tab. Click the drop-down button to expand the tab. This tab includes two sub-tabs, Authentication Consent and Admission Details. The Authentication Consent subtab will not be available for PMAs and Medcos. It is available only for the medical superintendents when they have registered the patient without Aadhaar authentication. As a medical superintendent, you will be required to upload the declaration form if you have not authenticated the patient via their Aadhaar. If required, you can also delete the uploaded document and add a new one by clicking the delete icon. Next, enter appropriate remarks. Once you have uploaded the form and entered relevant remarks, the drop-down button turns green. Click the Save button to save the authentication consent. On clicking the Save button, the application displays a message that the authentication consent of the patient has been saved successfully. If required, you can edit the details you have entered by clicking the Edit button. Next, under the Admission Details sub-tab, you need to enter the admission date of the patient. Then, enter the proposed surgery date for the patient. Select the admission type and select if this is a medico-legal case. On entering the admission details completely, the drop-down button turns green. Then, click the Save button to save the admission details. On clicking the Save button, the application displays a message that the admission details have been saved successfully. If required, you can edit the patient's admission details by clicking the Edit button. Once all the required details are saved, in both the subtabs under the Admission Information tab, the drop-down button turns green. Now, click the drop-down button on the Treatment tab. The Treatment tab displays four subtabs: Diagnosis, Treatment Plan, Investigations, and Care Team Details. In the Diagnosis subtab, you need to search for the patient's diagnosis. Select the applicable diagnosis from the search results. And the selected result appears in the Selected Diagnosis field. Now, you need to click the Add button. On clicking the button, the application displays a table listing the diagnosis details of the patient. Depending upon the patient's medical condition, you can select more than one diagnosis. All diagnoses are categorized as primary. Depending on the diagnosis type, you can also mark a diagnosis as secondary. If required, you can delete a diagnosis by clicking the delete icon. On entering the patient's diagnosis completely, the drop-down button turns green. Next, click the drop-down button on the Treatment Plan subtab. Here, you need to select the applicable specialty. Next, select the applicable procedure. On selecting specialty and procedure, number of days or units, and ICHI code fields will get filled. Next, Click the plus icon to view the treatment plan. This is the treatment plan of the patient. If required, you can delete the treatment plan by clicking the delete icon. On entering the treatment plan completely, the drop-down button turns green. Next, in the Investigations subtab, you need to upload the medical reports of the patient for the investigations listed in the table. It is mandatory to attach all the investigation reports that are specified in the drop-down list. If required, you can also delete the uploaded investigation report by clicking the delete icon. Once you have uploaded all the required documents, the drop-down button turns green. On filling the diagnosis, treatment plan, and investigations details, the Finance tab appears. Let's continue with the Treatment tab. In the Care Team Details subtab, you need to select the panel that will be involved in the treatment of the patient. The panel includes the doctor and other team members who would oversee the patient's treatment. Click the Add button to submit the care team details. Now, the application will display a table with the details of the selected doctor. If required, you can delete a care team member that you added by clicking the delete icon. On entering the care team details completely, the drop-down button turns green. Once the diagnosis, treatment plan, investigation reports, and care team details are entered and saved successfully, the drop-down button on the Treatment tab turns green. Now, click the drop-down button on the Finance tab. Here, the amount and incentive details are displayed. Now, click the Preview and Validate button to preview and validate the pre-authorization form of the patient. If required, you can also edit this form by clicking the Edit button. Next, click the Validate button to confirm the details that you have entered. After validating the details, click the Initiate Pre-authorization button. With this, you have initiated the pre-authorization for a patient, and the application takes you back to your dashboard and work list. Now, let's confirm whether the patient's pre-authorization has been submitted successfully. For this, select the Pre-authorization Pending tile. The patient for whom you raised the pre-authorization request is listed here. This request has now moved to the Pre-authorization Processing Doctors or PPD's queue for approving the patient's pre-authorization. With this, you have come to the end of this training. You have now learned how to initiate a pre-authorization request for a registered patient on the TMS Provider application.